Jason Hoff. He's the big dog with Mercedes International, the CEO, the president, the man that's helping to bring 600 new jobs to the Tuscaloosa area with this huge expansion at Mercedes, and we couldn't be more excited. You don't think he'll mind if we call him the Hoff, do you?
You don't hassle the Hoff.
I know. Hoff, good morning. How are you?
Good morning to you guys. I'm doing great.
Welcome back to your favorite morning show, the Steve Shannon Morning Show with Meg Summers. We had a wonderful time the last time you were with us, and we appreciate you doing it again live from Germany. How long you been in Germany?
I arrived about 5 hours ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be a nice long day for me.
It is. What time is it in Germany?
It is 2:15 in Germany.
2:15 in the afternoon. In the afternoon. So you were able to be in T-Town, I suppose, or maybe Nashville. I don't know, for the Bama game on Saturday, right?
I was home. Yeah, I was home over the weekend. I watched the game from home, but it was a great game, at least if you're a Bama fan. So that was cool.
Absolutely was a great game. I wondered if you had to track the game down in Germany, but you didn't have that problem. Well, 20 years, it's hard to believe, 20 years, Mercedes in Alabama, and then the other day, you blew us away with that huge announcement with the $1 billion investment to start building these electric vehicles, electric versions of the Mercedes-Benz cars and SUVs. Tell us about the electric Mercedes vehicle, in specifically, if you can, what to expect.
Well, it's part of an overall strategy that Mercedes-Benz has been following. We announced a while back that we're electrifying a good portion of our new products. So in the next 5 to 6 years, by 2022, we'll have 10 fully electric products.
Wow. And
over 50 vehicles that have other, either hybrid, full electric, or some other form of electrification. So it's part of a very big product push from our group. And we're just excited, thrilled that Tuscaloosa is going to be part of that with an electric vehicle also getting introduced in our plant sometime in early next decade.
To put this much emphasis and money behind electric, Jason, are you reading the tea leaves in terms of the future and cars and what we can expect?
Well, the tea leaves are very difficult to read. I'll be the first to admit that. If I could read them, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys today. I could have invested my money someplace else. But that being said, well, our strategy is, regardless of what direction those tea leaves take us, is to say, okay, we need to be prepared for both. And that's why the integration of electric cars into our existing, what we call traditional gas engine business, is really key. And when I say integration, that means we'll be building the cars on the same line and in the same process. And that way, depending on what the demand is, if there's higher demand for gas or higher demand for electric, we're prepared for both. And that's really the core of our operational strategy, and that's what's great about what we're going to be doing at MBUSI.
Well, do I understand correctly then? It sounds like we'll go into Mercedes and we'll have an option. We can buy the gas version or the electric version. Will that be for any car that Mercedes sells? We'll have that choice?
Well, there'll be different products that will be rolled out, that will be available, and, hopefully they'll be what our customers are looking for also. So it may not be a one-to-one, you either buy an electric E-Class or an electric gas.
Right.
But there will be a range of options which, should be able to satisfy whatever customers' needs and demands are.
I'm curious. It obviously takes some time to recharge when you have an electric car. And in the gas, you spend a couple minutes, you go, you fill it up, and you're on your way. How will the electric models, how will you address that or deal with that?
That's one of the big hurdles and topics that we're still working on. And really, it's not just us; it's all OEMs are working on. Is like you just said, you go to the gas station, you fill up. 3 or 4 minutes later, you're driving away. If you want to, fill up your electric car or charge up your electric car, you're not doing that in 3 or 4 minutes. So the great thing is that technology is advancing quickly in a lot of those areas. I can't predict how quick or how soon we'll be able to do it quicker. But clearly, those are some of the big things that not only Mercedes, but really all OEMs are focusing on.
We're hearing about 600 new jobs. Is that realistic?
Yeah, it's going to be in different areas. So not only did we announce that we're going to build electric cars at our operation, we're going to build a battery plant. And that battery plant, the location of the battery plant hasn't been decided yet, but we're in the process of finalizing that, and it'll be somewhere near MBUSI. That battery plant is part of the $1 billion investment, and there's also jobs that are part of that 600 jobs that will come from that. And then also, we recently finished the purchase of a new site in Bibb County, about 265 acres, where we're building 2 new logistics centers. One is a global logistics center for our vehicle packaging and kitting. So we send kits of vehicles to different countries where they do the final assembly, and that business has grown significantly and continues to grow, and so we're going to build a new warehouse for that. And then also our global service parts business right now is spread out across 3 warehouses in the Alabama area, and we're going to consolidate that into one big warehouse there. So some of the growth that's going to come in those areas is also going to be part of those 600 jobs. So we're real excited about all 3 initiatives, and that's why, it was a great week last week to not only celebrate 20 years, but also be looking forward to the next 20 years.
An incredible week. Jason Hoff is our guest this morning, live from Germany, the CEO and president of Mercedes-Benz International. On that battery facility near the plant in Vance, but you haven't said specifically yet. Can you give us a short list of spots being considered?
We're looking at some different areas. From a logistical operational standpoint, we don't want it to be too far away. We had a battery display actually at the press conference last week, and most people look at it and can't believe how big it is. I mean, it's about the big as a floor of a vehicle.
Wow!
And when you think about transporting that, you don't want to be very far away.
Right.
It's going to take up a lot of space. They're very heavy. They weigh about 1,400 pounds currently.
Oh, great.
So it's not a light thing to move around. And therefore, the sites that we're considering are, fairly close to the plant. I can't, specify if it's just within a 50-mile radius or less, but let's just say close to the plant.
I read somewhere, and correct me if I'm mistaken, that Mercedes is the number 2 exporter of vehicles in the United States.
Wow.
Is that accurate?
That is correct. We're the number 1 exporter of any product, or just in terms of pure dollar, for the state of Alabama. And then we are the number 2 exporter of vehicles. And a lot of people don't realize that about 70% of our SUVs get exported. Most of our C-classes stay in the United States. But when you do a weighted average of all of our volume, about 60% of all of our cars get exported overseas.
Wow.
And that is a huge benefit for us as a company, because we import a lot of cars. Other cars, not the cars we build and sell in the U.S., and our exports help balance that out. And that's always been a big selling point for us, as we try to keep a good balance between what we're importing and what we're exporting.
Hoff, how's your family? We talked to you last time about your family, and we kind of gotten endeared to them, and I'm just wondering how they're doing and what's up with your family. Take us to the home front here in T-Town and tell us about them.
My family's doing great. School's back in session. I now have a teenage daughter, which presents all kinds of fun and challenges.
Is she dating? Is she dating yet? Is she dating?
Well, in my world, no. She may define that differently, but in my world, no. And in my wife's world, no. But those are some of the trials and tribulations that are going on in the Hoff house right now.
Just like everybody else, right?
Absolutely.
Just like everybody else. What's your favorite thing about Tuscaloosa? I know this is home now for you. What's your favorite thing about Tuscaloosa, or one of?
Tuscaloosa is a great community. And, if I just look at it from a pure business standpoint, the interaction between the business and the local agencies, whether it be, the IDA, Chamber of Commerce, the educational institutions, is really special. And that's what's attracted Mercedes to the area, and why we continue to invest more in that area. Is, there's a very special relationship between the businesses and the groups that are trying to help and support those businesses. And then also, it's just a great place to live. So, it's a fantastic area, and, Mercedes is thrilled to call it home.
We're thrilled for you to be here, too, and I can't think of a better guy in a leadership position than you. I think I told you last time we talked, you're one of those people. Nobody has anything negative or bad to say about you. It's all positive. Your people skills and leadership, it's all positive. That's remarkable in today's climate.
I appreciate that. There may be a few people at the plant that might, disagree with that
I don't know.
a little bit.
I don't think so.
I have a great team at MBUSI, and that really makes the difference in the end. I can rely on them. They do a fantastic job. They work endlessly. I mean, our operation is a 24/7 operation, and there is never our operation is never empty, or there's never a point where nobody's there. And so with that, you got to have a great team around you to be able to support that kind of, round-the-clock operations. And we do. We have a great team there, and that makes, like I said, all the difference.
How did you start? You've made it to the top. How did you begin your relationship with Mercedes?
I was fortunate in that I got a chance to go to Germany right after I graduated from school. I was born and raised in Oregon, and through the truck group that's also part of Daimler or part of Mercedes, I went to Germany, and I got hooked up with the project at a very early stage, and worked in the finance group to begin with, and then got the opportunity to rotate through some different areas. I've lived in Germany a couple of times. I speak fluent German. That helps out a lot in a company like ours. So, some good fortune and sometimes being in the right place at the right time.
Well, obviously you've done remarkably well. And I wanted to ask about the hires, the 600 new jobs and stuff. I know a lot of your employees come from the University of Alabama. What would you advise anybody listening who wants to work for Mercedes? What do they need to do?
The automotive industry is going through some pretty dramatic changes. It's very technology-driven. A lot of the people that we're looking for more of an electronic background, sometimes even computer programming type background. So those are a lot of the skill sets that are going to be necessary, and the introduction of electrical vehicles into our operation is going to just further drive that change and the need for some different people in our operation. And that's one of the cool things we get to define and start discussing now that we've made this announcement is, okay, what are the type of people we're going to need come early next decade when we get ready to place these new vehicles. And that's fun because that, gets us out of our box, gets us start thinking in the areas that we haven't thought of before.
Fantastic opportunity for so many people. People who say that Mercedes has changed their life because of the great benefits and the employment opportunities there. We thank you for that. Final question. I know you're busy. I don't want to keep you any longer, but I have to ask, tell us about if you have a relationship with Nick Saban, who certainly has a relationship with Mercedes.
Coach is a great partner to Mercedes-Benz, has been for many years, and we are thrilled to call him part of our family. He's been out at our operation a number of times. I've asked him to come out and speak to our all-team meetings. We do all-team meetings about 4 times a year.
Oh, you do?
Once every year or two, we'll ask him to come out, and he'll address the whole team, and you can only imagine, what type of hit that is. I mean, he is an incredibly gifted, talented speaker, a great motivational speaker, and people are just, glued to him when he gets to come out there. So, we're really fortunate to call him a good friend and part of our Mercedes-Benz family.
When it's just you and he and just the two of you talking, what do you talk about?
You'd be amazed. A lot of times cars. He's a big car guy. Loves Mercedes-Benz, has been for many, many years. Now that he's in the dealership, dealership owner, that's, obviously further cemented that. So a lot of talk about cars, and you'd be amazed. It can be a pretty wide range of topics. Not always football.
I was going to say, I bet y'all don't talk football.
Depends on the time of year.
Yeah, he loves cars, and he loves cars and music like the rest of us, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? I spend a lot of time with my family when I'm home because I do travel quite a bit and work a lot. I do have an older Mercedes that I like to work on, an old G-Wagon that's become kind of a hobby of mine the last year or two. I still play an occasional round of golf, but not as much as I used to. Maybe I'll pick that up when my kids get a little bit older.
There you go. And what do you drive every day? I'm just curious.
I drive a GLE coupe.
There you
kind of the slanted halfback GLE, and I'm a big fan of our AMG versions.
That's
so
a good-looking
Mm-hmm.
vehicle. Well, we thank the good Lord that you are part of the fabric of the Tuscaloosa community. We thank you for giving us some time from Germany this morning. You're a winner, and we appreciate it. Glad to be on you on our team, and glad to have you. Thank you so much for your time from Germany. We'll let you get back to whatever it is you got to do today. Roll Tide.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on. Roll Tide. You guys have a great day.
And remember, if anybody asks, your favorite radio show, Steve Shannon Morning Show, Meg Summers, 95.3 The Bear. Is that right, sir?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Have a great day, guys.
All right,
Thank
sir.
you.
I love that guy. It just seems like you could go out and have a beer with him, right?
Cool dude.
A German beer, probably.
Yeah.
Jason Hoff, the president and CEO of Mercedes-Benz International, live on the Steve Shannon Morning Show with Meg Summers and him.